During the time of the recording of this episode, my microphone was not working. I had to dub over and edit. Welcome back to another episode of Chat with Chad. This is brought to you by Growing Up in the Wilds of Suburbia. I'm your host, Chad Everett Broshears. This particular episode is one that I brought together all of the guests that I had throughout the month of July. Minus one, William unfortunately was unable to make it, but I did bring Jem, Joel, and Michael to the conversation. We discussed a few things, got to know each other a bit better, sought out some insightful perspectives, and answered questions for the audience. So without further ado, I'll let them introduce themselves. Please enjoy.
Hey guys, my name is Mike Cornell, and I'm really pumped to be on this panel. I am out of St. Petersburg, Florida. I'm definitely committed to self-growth and business for sure. I have a mastermind. I'll plug that later on. But I'm just really committed to self-growth and being on this panel. And thank you, Chad, for inviting me on here, and I'm really pumped for the call. Thank you. Yeah.
Good day. Thank you so much, Chad, for having me on. I am Joel Blunt Jr. Tallahassee, Florida. I'm excited to share my perspective on life. And think about the opportunities that are for us to be able to invest into our communities. I think that a thoughtful approach is going to be necessary. So again, Chad, thank you so much. Look forward to the conversation today.
Jim McRae, I'm from Detroit, Marine Corps veteran, father of two. I'm excited to be on this panel. It's a bunch of like-minded individuals, analytical thinkers, I'm really looking forward to some of the questions that have been posed for us to answer and kind of things to wrap our minds around and see the different directions that we go as we kind of help steer each other through the process of analyzing and sharing our thoughts.
What I can recall being inspired to speak on or share with you. I do again apologize that I was not able to actually get my audio recorded as well. My microphone was not picked up by the program I was using. In the future episodes, I do not have any intention of this happening again. We, as the panel and myself, decided that regardless as to where we were after the call was over, we wanted this to be published, and my commentary was something that we all agreed I could add in later. So without further ado, we'll continue into the episode. Now, I will be recording some of these throughout, so I will add a little bit more here and there, but predominantly this episode was just wonderfully done by these gentlemen. So enjoy.
Thank you so much. You brought up a good point about community, right? Community is a group of individuals living together, coming together, convening for the purpose of solving problems, addressing necessary evils in our communities, in our living spaces. And so one of the things that my company, Serve It Up BBQ and Catering, has been doing is we are taking the initiative to really cultivate relationships in our community through food. And when you think about barbecue, it's something that we all love, And when I'm out serving our barbecue, if individuals don't eat all the barbecue that we have on the particular site, we package it up, and instead of throwing it away, we take it out in our community and give it out to the less fortunate individuals who are homeless, individuals who are in need. And it's been a good feeling of support that we've been providing to our community members, just being able to not see the good food go to waste. And so for the last month or so, we've been taking out meals to homeless individuals, packaging up our food, and they've been enjoying it. And I think that that's something that helps build community, right? When you think about a chain, right? You're only as strong as your weakest link. And I think that if we can think outside of just ourselves, have empathy for others, I think that helps to build community, because we all have to pull together. We're all living in the same area, and we all should be pulling to be able to stop those necessary evils that go on in our area.
Along the lines of what you were saying, Joel, with regards to community and the correlation to a chain being only as strong as its weakest link, one of the beautiful things about community is the larger and more robust the community, that you don't have to have a weak link, because you can have people that specialize in what you're deficient in on their 9 to 5, and then just contribute more to the community, and that would eliminate effectively all the weak links. So it's a beautiful thing that you're doing, and it's great to hear that you're doing that for the disenfranchised and the homeless, because that is an area that you recognized in your community was a weak link. So you're stepping up and bolstering that weak link. That's fantastic.
Thank you, Jim. And again, when you think about thinking about helping those individuals who may be less fortunate, those individuals have the greatest hope afterwards. You know, they understand what it's like to be in position of need. And so, quite frankly, as roles change and these individuals find themselves, those individuals will be more in tune, hopefully more in tune to be those ones that want to give back and help as well. And I think that that's really that, strengthening that particular area, because it has a longer lasting effect in the community. And so those individuals, man, they're very humble, but again, they're strong. It's not one of those things where they're like, woe is me. They're out there, but it's like, hey, they're human as well. And I like to take the human effect.
That's awesome.
Just take and drop food off and say, hey, here, and how's your day going? What's been going on with you? It's tough out here. I know. Are you being safe? Those type of things, really goes deep into their psychological, because it's like so many people, they pass them up. So many people, they pass them up and just, look down on them, or just be like, hey, you guys should be getting the application. Well, you understand there's various layers to what they're facing, and just having somebody to be there to talk to them, to treat them like a human being, really provides some necessary hope that they could thrive from.
Yeah, absolutely.
To add on to that, just the fact that, in terms of survival, these people are walking around in total survival all day. And when you can come together, that definitely gives them hope, and that gives them a sense of community, like you're saying. So I think that makes a big difference for somebody that is out there surviving. In the day-to-day life for a homeless person is it's definitely not easy. So just having that, like you said, the humanity, bringing the humanity in, it's just, it's a huge thing, even for all of ourselves, when we come together with community, we feel better. We feel better around people that have our back, and we want to grow more. We want to help more too. And like you're saying, Joel, whenever we come together, it makes us want to help other people because somebody helped us. So I think that's really cool.
You're right. You're right, Mike. You think about it. I always tell myself that, what if that was me? What if it was me? And I would want somebody to at least, give me a hand up. And you think about it, where the economy is going, the way different things are happening in society. You look at unemployment rates, you look at individuals receiving different benefits. This time, there's a lot of people in need, and they could possibly be those individuals that are next out there. And it's like, we as a society are finding ways to even support families in different mortuaries on rent and mortgages that are out there. And these are the decisions that we have to make, even in the democratic society. Which areas we want to invest in our community. And yes, it's going to have some folks that's going to say, why you do this, and why don't people pull themselves up by their bootstraps? It's like we have to solve these particular problems, right? And before, it used to be a time when the church would be that particular location where you could go and get those charities, you could go and get those particular areas, but now you're seeing a large growth in government. And so then now everybody's running to the government saying, hey, here's my handout. And so we as a society, we have to be able to think critically to be able to solve these particular challenges, because it's not just a small population of folks that you may see on the streets. That's a symptom, right? It's happening in people's homes, right? It's happening in all aspects of life. And so we must be able to recognize and be able to find ways to solve those particular issues.
Yeah. I see that as just a little step, right? Like sometimes when let's say you're down and out, sometimes you think that the step is so big. This is like an opportunity. For me, what I see is this is an opportunity for somebody to take an easy step to move forward when, most of the time they're like thinking like, I'm screwed. How am I going to whatever, so I can definitely see what you're saying about bootstrapping and, because I definitely have the belief of, bootstrapping. But there's some people that are just down and out that they need that help. They need that little easy step, I guess you want to say. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And Chad, that's a great way of modeling hope, right? Because it doesn't say be ignorant to different things that may happen, right? Like sometimes you may get ready to pump some gas, and first thing somebody does is run up to you and say, hey, can I get a couple of dollars? And the first thing you may think about is, man, what are you going to do with these couple of dollars? Are you going to go inside and buy beer or something? Because actually I probably would want to go in and get one myself, but I don't want to support, you having this. But ultimately, when you think about their particular heart, typically if they have a particular need, it'll show forth, right? If it's hunger, they'll be right there doing that. But I oftentimes say, the key is just modeling hope, right? We live in a society where everything from likes and impressions on social media, all wants us to see the glory and the glamour of life. But we have to understand that everybody doesn't live that fairy tale type of life, right? We have angst, we have things that bother us, we have certain issues that we face, right? And then us having different skill sets, different abilities to keep and employ resources, it's important that we do so, right? Because you're given these skills to be able to impart and affect the communities that you live in, not just for you to have them for yourself, but you to have the come up mentality without thinking about everybody else. Because you think about it, those same individuals that you walk over today will be the same individuals that will be passing you while you're in your situation. So being able to model hope is going to be very important.
Well, and going back a little bit, let's be honest. Let's hope that all these people that you're helping currently, Joel, get up on their feet. And then not only that, but they remember that you helped them when they were down and they turn into paying customers in the future, right?
Ideally, Jim, that would be the case. But whether they ever see it again or not, I really, to be honest, I just want to be that person that, passing by through the wind, If you remember me, you remember me. If you don't, just remember that somebody cared, right? Somebody cared, somebody thought about you, and then hoping that seed that was planted will grow up and produce a tree that will shade the next individual that comes up against that person, right? And that's how it is, right? We got this pay it mentality, pay it forward mentality, right? You get that feeling when you go to the Chick-fil-A and you pull up and you ordered your meal and it's $10 and $12 and you get to the window and that person tells you that somebody in front of you paid for your meal. How good of a feeling that is, right? That they were able to do that, right? And I don't know who that person was that was in front of me, right? I may have remembered that their car was red or something, but they were already gone before I can get over there to say thank you, right? But I knew that seed was planted in me to say, you know what, I didn't pay for my meal. So now when I see that person standing on the side of the corner of the road and they got a sign, and yes, they may have a job and they're standing out there. Who knows, right? But then I know I didn't pay $12 for my meal. So if I gave them $5 of that, whether you do it with it or what, I feel like, hey, thank you, Lord. That was a gift that I didn't have, that I didn't receive. Let me pass it on to someone else. And how beautiful this world would be if more people did that, right? And more people just took the little that they have and started going out and saying, hey, I'm gonna be a blessing to somebody else, right? You'll be surprised at how much that would go around and how much that would fertilize and build our community and how much flourishing that would have in our society.
I agree 100%. And I think when we talked about benevolence being contagious, that is the difference. Yeah, it would be great if those people turned around and ended up becoming paying customers for you. That would be a horrible business model if that's what you were counting on. And so I think that's one of the differentiators in determining whether or not benevolence is going to be contagious in a community or whether or not it's just, I think people can sense when it's fake or when it's self-serving. Right. Right. Right.
Right. Right. Right. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
when you think about it, Chad, you hear about certain influencers. Individuals have all of the resources, meaning they have a house, they have a car, they have a job, but everything is being output to maintain those particular things that they have. And they don't have any other resources for anything else. They say you're house poor, right? And so when you think about who could be house poor, right? That could be anybody who has a regular job, who has, spent more, they either living right at their means or they're living above their means, right? And those create challenges, right? Those can create relationship challenges. Those create different attitudes that come about when they're living paycheck to paycheck, and maybe they make one mistake and spend a little bit more, and now their lights may be getting cut off. And so it creates those different types of outcomes. And it also changes the narrative of what we say who's rich and who's poor, right? You can have these resources and still be living in a state of poverty, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. What I think, when you're in a state of, when you're in survival, you're just trying to survive. But when you're in a state of, what is it, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, security is like the bottom one. Can I get my bills paid? Do I have a home? Do I have food in my belly? And that's a very important one, just for like just having calm nerves, just being able to operate. Like, do I have a place? Do I have food? And just, I have a friend in the VA, and he had to go to the VA for like some mental issues, and he's had a job for probably about 6 months now, and they want to, he's at the point where he's producing enough financially, and he's got, his mindset is is uh is okay, like he can operate out there. um so it seems to me that finding a routine that would, one, put money in your pocket, and two, have you at least meet those basic needs, so that you can slowly get out of that real scarcity, that survival, you know. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, exactly what you said. There's a lot of business owners that, in my experience, and definitely this was me in the past, but they just don't produce a model that will consistently give them the money that they want so that they can have the lifestyle they want. And that's basically what I focus on, is producing that, and taking a lot of the work out, and making it a little bit more a passive business. I flipped medical commodities, and that's basically what I've done, and that's what I teach people as well. And we're turning, like, literally, I turned my friend into a six-figure earner in 3 months. She's on track for six figures now, and we've been a long time friend. So it's a very simple model. And anyways, just to go into I don't want to talk too much more about that, but just being taught like a model that actually will sustain and that will work in the long run. Systems is crucial. So that's what we teach, is we teach systems. And yeah, so yeah. Right.
Right.
When you think about the responsibility of a company or even a personal, those core values are essential, right? And oftentimes, you think about even companies that you would want to spend your money with, right? If you went to a bank and you were hoping that the bank was truthful in how much money was in your account, you would value that, right? But if you went and checked your statement and you saw different discrepancies on it, you probably wouldn't trust that bank any longer to hold your money, right? And vice versa, right? When you think about the different things that we have in our lives, right? We say, okay, it's okay to just tell a little, we use this word, quote unquote, a white lie, or so we say, it's not that bad, right? But in a sense, it's still a what? A lie. And it's like, how much could you be, how can you be trustworthy and then also tell a lie? That doesn't work, like oil and water. And so I think that as we are developing businesses, as we develop in our personal core value, it needs to be true to that particular thing that you're sharing, right? If you are a car salesman, right, you don't want to have that moniker of being a shady car salesman, right? You want to be exactly what the price says. You want that in black and white. And so you'll find that the ones who do it better, the one who have the better reputation, typically are the ones that have the most service, the most sales, the most response from the community in a positive manner. And the ones who don't do it as well is probably the ones that are closing their doors and not having as much business potentials.
Well, I really enjoyed the way you broke that down, Chad, talking about what's the why bother going through the rigmarole and the hassle of being honest? Why even bother when it would be way easier to lie, right? But the fact is that with trust, you get to go deeper into your relationships with people. You get to learn more about them with trust. They have to let you into that. And there are certain people in our lives that, man, I just can't get deep enough with these people, right? The more I peel back, the deeper I go, the more I want. And I think that's where the value of being honest comes in, is that it's the key to get through to those next layers, because you can't get there without that trust. I wouldn't open up to you if I didn't trust you.
The perception as well, right? We see that with I know I mentioned in the conversation that I had about jumping off the porch early, and going out and quote unquote sowing your raw oats to see what life is like outside of the protective environment of your home and parents. You see that in the young daughter, so going out and dating dating the street guy, the older personality type of person that may make the dad kind of upset, that bad guy persona. We see that a lot, opposites do attract. We may find ourselves in those situations, and that's based on what our perception is in regarding those particular core values, right? And it can do one or two things. It could either have us to conform to those particular core values, or it can have us to revert back to where we originally came from. And that's a good challenge to have. But understanding that we all base our perception on those core values based on how we perceive them in that particular moment.
There's not like a Boy Scout badge that you wear on your lapel or on your shirt, but it does show through, and it does resonate, and people do recognize it. And what I think it demonstrates is an understanding and a depth of character. So when people recognize that understanding in you and they can relate to it, it makes you more magnetic as a personality. And I just think it leads to deeper relationships, more meaningful exchanges with people, and that's on an everyday level.
Yeah, so that's great. I mean, with honesty, what I see is, personally, if you can be honest, you can trust yourself. And the more you trust yourself, the more others will trust you. You trust yourself, you're able to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And like, if I say I'm going to go and create blank, because I've been honest and I've always done the right thing, I'm going to create that because I have a track record of being honest and people trusting me and me following through. So I just think it's like a cycle of, honesty makes a big difference, when it comes to integrity and people see it. Like Jim was saying, the magnetism, people will trust you. People will, they'll see it. They'll see it's like a vibe. They'll actually see that you will follow through on your word when it comes to your promises.
Yeah, and you think about those sayings that we would say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Right? And you think about how that plays in our everyday life. And we'll take someone for face value once, for sure. Right? I think we all are given that level of respect that we should be able to take someone at face value for once. Right? But then it changes, right? Society has changed it. I can remember a time when somebody was walking down the street in small town Brooksville, and they were walking. You could pick up somebody who was hitchhiking, right? And you would allow them to sit in the car with you and drive them to the gas station, right? Because that was the common occurrence. They didn't need. But now you see somebody walking on the side of the highway, you think twice about possibly picking them up and giving them a ride, even though you know that they're probably carrying a gas can in the right? Because of what's been going on in society, people carjacking, people being dishonest, in those particular situations. And so the question to some of the panelists is, how do we look at the narrative? How do you look at the narrative when there's two stark differences, right? You see one group of folks who say, I'll look at the instance that's going on in America as one way, and I'll look at the other one as another way. And it's two stark and different divides. How do we look at that when one side is saying this is true and one side is saying it's not true? How do we begin to bridge and divide to come up with a commonality of what is honest, what is truth, what is integrity? And Michael brought up a good point earlier about the Maslow hierarchy. You said Maslow, my thoughts really started to pull there, right? And everybody's speaking in psychological, which is the basic foundation. But once you've achieved those particular levels, the safety need, the love, the esteem, and the self-actualizations, it pushes you to a level of euphoria, right? You think about, I oftentimes see myself at the self-actualization stage, right? Where it's to become the best that I could be, right? But then I'm oftentimes finding myself coming back down to the esteem state, right? Which helps me to understand, hey, I want to be respected. I want the strength. I want the freedom, right? That comes along with being in this particular position. But then there's always that pull and pull between those two areas that I oftentimes find myself working even with my spouse on, and working with my coworkers with, to be able to pull them and allow that to be a part of my daily lifestyle.
So I have one of the questions from one of our listeners. It's just Laura. She writes, for a lack of motivation and procrastination,
stay in those particular areas where you can help pull others.
From this
I find sometimes that's a daily challenge for me.
And is obviously
one of that's something that you guys are dealing with,
but it can become challenging
quest
when you
for
don't necessarily enjoy what you're doing. Now she goes on to say, coming from a woman's perspective, here, expectations society puts on this ideal situation is tough. It's keeping up with a house. It's 100%. Being an excellent partner. Being a good life partner. Being a good employee. It's a struggle. And I agree with her completely that it does have some struggle values. What she's looking for is just some insight from each of us on motivating us and preventing procrastination.
I think if it's all right if I go first, I think it's a common issue. It's not something that you should beat yourself up for feeling by any stretch. And I think what came to my mind when you were reading that was Dr. Stephen Covey with the 7 Habits. It's being careful of your language. You don't sit on the couch and think to yourself, man, I have to clean the house. What you do is sit on the couch and you, just by changing the verbiage, I would rather be sitting in a cleaner house. Now you want to get up and actually clean it. It's not that you have to do it, but you want the result of it being done. So if you target your thinking towards what you want versus what has to be done to get there, it'll kind of bend the frustration and the procrastination part of it and help motivate.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Jim, thank you. Hey, Jim, thank you for that point of view, because I can now say I'd rather sit in a cleaner working environment. So that'll be my motivation this week. I say this jokingly, but there's a meme that I always think about when I'm either running late for something, running late to an event or something like that, and it says, I'm running late because really I don't want to go. I don't want to be there. And oftentimes we have to find that motivation, right? And that motivation sometimes could be a challenge, right? Because we're dealing with so much, right? Whether, if it's stress, anxiety that comes along with it, whether you meet a new person, you're saying, I wonder if they like me. I wonder if they're going to see me dressed in the way that I want them to see me. And so those things can happen, right? And so find that intrinsic motivation to say, hey, I want to put forth a good impression and being on time, or I want to have, like what you said, Jim, a clean living environment. So let me put forth the effort to do so, right? And the reward, oftentimes, like my wife, we're opposite in that regard, right? My wife will get up, she'll just start cleaning and all of that. And before you know it, 5 or 10 tasks down, she has it done. Me, I'm like, well, it'll get done, or I'll do it later, right? And so in the sense to the person posing the question, it is common, right? Yep. You're not alone, but it's important that we do find that, we find that intrinsic motivation, right, and that reward that comes about doing so, right? Chad mentioned, say, hey, Joe, what are you doing today? I said, I'm either fishing or barbecuing. There's probably one reason why I'm fishing, because I'm either procrastinating or doing something else that I would love to do. But, you have to be able to find common motivation, the common grounds to be able to achieve those goals that you have. And sometimes it is a challenge, but, we can overcome it.
Absolutely.
Nice. Yeah, totally agree with all that. My perspective on this, to the fastest way to get a habit down, because eventually things have to become habits so that they stick. So for me, the best way to get a habit down or something, to increase, to get the result you want in one area, the fastest way is to either have somebody hold you accountable, or just put pressure on your positive pressure. Like, I promise this, and tell some friends, and then that'll give you pressure to do it. For me personally, that's what works. So, just having deadlines, that kind of push me in, that they put a little pressure on me. Maybe they give me a little anxiety. That's all. To me, that's all part of it. And just a mix of accountability, a mix of accountability, and putting a little pressure on yourself. And when I say pressure, I mean like positive pressure. Maybe telling your friends, maybe those sort of things, like to where you have to show up. Like, if I want to lose 10 pounds, I'm going to go sign up. Like, I'm just talking in general right now, but if I really want to lose 10 pounds in the next 2 weeks, then I'm going to go sign up for a class, and then go talk to the guy that's running the program and say, hey, I'm going to show up and I need to lose 10 pounds. And that'll just automatically put I guess you could say, the pressure on me. And that's not bad pressure. That's good pressure. So for me, keeping the motivation is like almost making it like a natural part of your own life. Like, it's just natural for me to get up and take, it's natural for me to, clean the house, like right when I wake up for some, it's just what I do. When I see something that's not clean, I just take it. I'm not saying I do that all the time, but I'm just giving you an example. Like habits, that's really what
Unfortunately,
creates
at this time,
long-lasting
Joel
change.
has to leave, so he's actually
And
going
you're
to
gonna
begin his
have
exit
times
now.
when you're not motivated, and you're gonna have those times. But if you can create a life that pulls you into where you want to be at, or what you want to be, then it's easier. That makes sense?
Awesome. Thank you so much. I enjoyed the opportunity to speak with you again, as well as the other panelists. Good meeting you, and I look forward to future opportunities to engage, right? Because we help set the tone for how we see things in life, and as well as how we impact our environments. And I think that's very important, that we continue to have these conversations, right? Diverse, creative, and courageous as well, because we are the change that we want to see in our community. We're modeling it, and I think that if we can continue to promote it, I think that we're going to help our community evolve. Thank you so much, Chad. Thank you so much, fellow panelists. Look forward to future conversations with you.
Thanks. Thanks, Joel. Yeah, it was really great hearing your story. I definitely want to hear more on, why you started with homeless people. And like, did you have, we'll talk more about that later, but, did you have your own personal story that, you were affected by, or, I guess, I would like to hear more about that. So, but we'll talk. And thank you for being on. Yeah.
Thank you as well.
Absolutely, Joel. Respect, sir. Enjoy the rest of your day. I've enjoyed bouncing things off of you and having your concepts bounced off of me. Definitely somebody that if I'm simply a flowing stream, I would allow you to be a rock that would change my direction.
Thank you, man. Enjoy as well. Please, let's share contacts as well. Chad, keep us connected. Look forward to our next conversation as well.
I think, a big thing is like what Jim said, huge in the beginning is, making yourself wrong for procrastinating is going to hurt you so much more than help you. So, I mean, just starting there is where to start. That's where you start. So.
Great point. You mind if I take that a step further? Yeah. And it's having the self-awareness, I guess, the strength of character to be able to say, I'm not wrong for feeling this, but there's definitely here a problem that needs to be diagnosed. I think recognizing it like that is a big step in it. Absolutely don't beat yourself up for it because it's something everybody goes through, but at the same time, have the wherewithal to recognize that it's preventing you from accomplishing what you need to accomplish, and diagnose and approach that objectively as to why you're having this issue. Burnout, by definition, is unwilling to diagnose. It's the lack of drive to even figure out how to solve that problem or even define the problem itself. So is it a matter of you weren't confident in the merit of your contribution to the conversation? Because I feel I almost had the exact same situation. Only people told me the thing that you're trying to add to the conversation is ridiculous, but we truly enjoy the jokes that you have at the front and the end. So just be funny. I'm kidding.
Yeah, absolutely. Just generally about that whole thing and self-development in general, I think once you know like that there's something about yourself that, like, let's say you want to change or transform, it's just once it's like you can't go back, so it's like that's the best way I can describe it is if you have the potential to do. Before Landmark, I could definitely say I never thought I had the potential to do a lot of the things that I've been doing. And just knowing that, not even to sound cliche, but anything is possible, just knowing that, and it actually is. Like, it really is. I feel like once you've done that program, you really can actually see it. You can see your pathways. Like, it's you can't go back. I mean, you can't go back. Right. Right.
At this point of the conversation, Jim and I are discussing my working definition of stupidity or stupid.
Right.
For me,
yes,
stupid has been kind of its own.
Well, absolutely. I think it's relative though, and I think that might be where you're going with it.
It's used in such
I think intentional ignorance is absolutely a bad thing.
Definition associated with it that is specifically distinct. We kind of use it as a general overview. So I have a working definition of the word stupid, and that working definition is arrogant ignorance. Now, the definition of ignorance is lack of experience or exposure. Arrogance obviously is a position that you know more, or that you are unlikely to experience something specific. So to deny the information you were just given does present a unique opportunity for you not to look further into a situation that you're dealing with, that you would learn more and be exposed to more, therefore be less ignorant in the future in a particular subject. Once you lock down and become arrogant about it, you're now no longer in that position. You're actually freezing yourself in an earlier state, which is the beginning of that awareness. Now, Jem's following statement is not directly addressing the overlaid piece that I just shared. His position's actually from the original recording. So as we move into the next step of this particular episode, Jem's responding to my earlier statement that was specific about arrogant ignorance and the overview definition that I have, not to the conclusion I gave you in the overlay.
I see that different. So I guess with intentional or arrogant ignorance, you find a deficiency and choose not to do anything about it, right? Where stupidity is you're looking at a situation, you understand all the factors that are involved, and you're not taking all of those factors into account when you're making your decision or you're deciding which direction to proceed. So I would disagree with that definition of stupidity, just in the sense that I can be stupid without being ignorant.
Yeah, but that's how it's
No, it would be. No, I would say that it wouldn't be by choice. I would say that it would just be stupid. You know, I mean, like, does that make sense? Like, I suppose you're right, but I feel I can be stupid without being ignorant. I feel stupid is the negative, where ignorant is more the neutral of the two characteristics.
His schedule. So this is the part where Michael will say goodbye for this particular episode. So enjoy his exit, and I will speak with you in a moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for having me on, and thank to anybody that's listening. This is glad you listened this far. And if you want to reach me, you can reach me on Facebook, Michael Cornell. And like I said, I have a mastermind. We have over 34 members, and we've helped at least, a little bit less than half of them go on to hit a 6-figure year. So, we mean business, and we're out to make a difference in that way. So you can reach me there on Facebook, and I have a YouTube channel. I can send the link for that too as well. And that's it. And that's how I'm contributing to the world right now, is helping people financially, pay those bills, easily pay the bills, and have the life that they really want. So thank you very much.
Michael, it was a pleasure meeting you. I enjoyed, the call, the conversations, your contributions to it. More than one time you've commented
this part with Jim,
and
mainly because the back
either
and forth
redirected my thought or had me considering
really
something I hadn't thought of before.
Nice.
And I very much appreciate that in you. So thank you.
And recreating that would have left it feeling really insincere and authentic. So sadly, I did have to cut quite a bit of that off. Oh, this is going to be some of Jim's closing statement, and then the completion of this episode. In the future, I do not plan on having this type of audio issue. This was a completely learning experience for us, and specifically for me, especially after the laborious effort of correcting this issue. So without further ado, this is Jim's final statements and then into his closing.
Well, thanks a lot, Chad. I appreciate that. Again, I kudos to you for putting the panel together. I really enjoyed it. I don't know how you're going to do chat with Chad and then list all of us. You're going to have a really long title page.
So thank you
maybe just call it Chad and the Wiseman or something. I don't know.
Also to Joel and Michael for all of the time that they spent. The frustration
not to pat myself on the
episode. I mentioned that several times during this overlay. But I do
no, definitely thanks again for letting me be a part of this. It's fun. And I get a lot out of it.
I do sincerely hope that you listen to draw as much out of this as possible. I know that this is not one of the most fluid videos that we've produced. I also did not want to lose anything from this particular episode due to the substance that we discuss. Unfortunately, my perspectives were not listed outside of the overlay, but ultimately their wisdom, their insights was something that I did not want to deny the audience simply because I wasn't going to be able to contribute to the level that I typically do in my episodes. So with that, I do appreciate your time watching. Also share this video with the people in your life that you know that this can help out, as well as watch this. Do hit the like button. Also subscribe to this channel. It does help me out as far as the rankings go and for future opportunities, so we can make more of these for everyone. Also to help me polish everything up. Practice does make perfect over time. Perfection, we'll see. But for the time being, thank you so much again. This is Chad Everett Broshears. I am the host of Growing Up in the Wilds of Suburbia, which is the main channel portion that did bring you this particular episode of Chat with Chad, and now coined and the Wiseman for this one. So enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for listening.